Since ancient times, humanity has asked the greatest question of all: does God exist? Throughout history, we have sought answers in philosophy, religion, and science. Some firmly believe in his existence, others deny it outright, and many simply doubt. But is there a rational way to answer this question? In this video, we will explore the evidence, logical arguments, and even what science tells us about the possibility of a creator. This is the first video in a two-part series, where we will not only examine whether God exists, but in the second part, we will tackle one of the most challenging questions. If God exists, who created him? But first, let's focus on the central issue. 1. The creation of the universe and the need for a cause. One of the strongest arguments for the existence of God is the cosmological argument. Science has shown that the universe had a beginning. Everything that has a beginning must have a cause. The Big Bang model tells us that time, space, and matter emerged in a single instant. Before that moment, there was nothing of what we know. So, the inevitable question arises: what caused the Big Bang? Some theories suggest quantum fluctuations or physical laws operating outside of time, but these explanations merely push the question further. Where do these laws come from? For centuries, philosophy and theology have proposed the idea of a first cause, a being that does not need a cause to exist because it is eternal and transcends time and space. If everything we know had an origin, it makes sense that the cause of everything must exist outside the limitations of the universe. And that is precisely the definition of God. If God did not exist, we would have to accept that the universe came from nothing, which is irrational. Nothing has no properties. It cannot generate laws or bring matter into existence. The most logical explanation is that something beyond time and space decided to bring it into existence. Not only that, but the very existence of laws governing physics suggests that there is an ordering mind behind them. In this sense, believing in a creator is not a leap of blind faith, but a logical inference based on the very structure of the universe. 2. The fine-tuning of the universe. But if the universe had an origin, what about its conditions? If we look at the laws of physics, we find something fascinating. The universe is finely tuned with astonishing precision to allow life to exist. This concept is known as fine-tuning and has left scientists worldwide perplexed. The fundamental constants of nature, such as the charge of the electron, the speed of light, gravitational force, or the cosmological constant, have extremely specific values. If any of these constants varied even by a tiny fraction, the universe could not support life. For example, if the strong nuclear force were slightly weaker, atoms would not hold together, and matter would not exist. If the universe's expansion rate were even slightly different, it would either collapse on itself or expand too rapidly for galaxies to form. Some scientists say this is a coincidence, but the probability of everything aligning perfectly is so low that it seems irrational to think it was mere chance. The multiverse hypothesis attempts to explain this by suggesting that infinite universes exist with different configurations, and that we simply live in one that allows life. However, this does not solve the problem, as we would still need an explanation for why a system that generates universes exists in the first place. Imagine being in a dark room with a single dart and a dartboard the size of the universe with only one allowed point of impact. You throw the dart at random and hit that precise point. That is the probability of the physical laws being what they are by chance. Fine-tuning suggests design, and design implies a designer. 3. The origin of consciousness. One of science's greatest mysteries is the origin of consciousness. How is it possible that something as complex as self-awareness emerges from inert matter? There is no satisfactory physical explanation for how the human mind could have evolved solely from material processes. If we were merely biological machines, our decisions would be entirely determined by physical and chemical laws, making the idea of free will an illusion. Yet, we all experience the ability to make choices, have abstract thoughts, and question our own existence. This spark of self-awareness points to something beyond the purely material. The existence of the soul, or at least a transcendent reality, is a possibility that many scientists and philosophers cannot ignore. For personal testimonies and the experience of God, beyond logical and scientific arguments, there is personal experience. Millions of people throughout history have claimed to feel the presence of God, witnessed miracles, or have radically changed their lives after knowing Him. Testimonies of people who have gone from despair to peace, from doubt to certainty, show that faith in God has a real impact on human life. Some of history's greatest minds, such as Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein, believed in a designer of the universe. Great scientists, artists, and thinkers have found in God a source of inspiration, peace, and wisdom. Even today, scientists from various fields continue to find in God's existence a plausible explanation for the complexity and order of the cosmos. 5. Conclusion: a question that changes lives. So, does God exist? Science takes us to the limits of knowledge, showing that the universe had a beginning and is finely tuned for life. Philosophy tells us that morality and the meaning of existence require a transcendent source. And personal experience shows us that faith in God transforms lives. Believing in God is not an irrational act. On the contrary, it may be the most logical conclusion if we follow the evidence to its ultimate consequences. If science shows us that the universe had a beginning, that the conditions for life are extraordinary, and that human consciousness cannot be reduced to mere chemical processes, isn't it reasonable to think there is something beyond the material? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, says the Lord, who is and who was and who is to come, the Almighty. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through Him all things were made. Without Him nothing was made that has been made. In Him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. But this is only the first part. In the next video, we will address one of the most common objections. If God exists, who created Him? To answer, we will have to explore the nature of time, existence, and the concept of the uncaused. The answer to this question will challenge our understanding of time, reality, and infinity. Don't miss it.